Welcome to episode 12 of Poor Decisions. My name's Ronan Collins, or Whiskey for Breakfast.
And my name is Michael Cowman, or The Cowman Show. And we are here today. Where are we, Ronan?
We are in Bagnallstown.
Yeah, we didn't coach him on how to say that at all before this show. So we're in Bagnallstown in County Carlow. We're in Carlow Brewing Company. And we have Seamus here from Carlow Brewing Company, from O'Hara's, which will probably be the brand people are most familiar with, to talk us through the site and where we are and all about the brand. Thanks very much.
Brilliant.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks.
You
Look
lucky
forward to it.
devil.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to your office.
I made a cut. yeah.
Thank you very much for being here. Could you tell us a little bit about, I know we've kind of had a little walk around here as well. Could you tell us a little bit about when the company set up and how you got set up and all that kind of jazz?
Yeah, absolutely. So the company was founded in 1996, but took us a couple of years to get the building, get some equipment, etc. So started brewing in 1998 in a small building called the Good Store in Carlow Town, beside a train station.
Yeah.
Nice old building. And we worked out of there for about 10 years, 10, 11 years, kind of growing step by step, getting past a few hurdles along the way, and eventually moved to this current location in 2009. Yeah, initially to one building, and we've kind of grown on this footprint, but I suppose reflects the fact that our business has grown quite a bit in the domestic market, but also particularly the export market over the last 9-10 years. So it's certainly kept us on our toes.
Yeah, it was funny when we pulled in because I'm 20 minutes down the road. So I knew it was a big setup, and we pulled in, and the guys were like, right, okay, they were kind of looking around. It is a large setup you have here, like it is and it's great for
proper brewery.
It's great for the local area. I mean, and now in Bagnallstown alone, you have the Royal Oak Distillery down the road, and you have Carlow Brewing here as well, so.
Yeah, and I like the way in one of the, I think it's your bottling and your cannon hall, it used to be like a children's ball pool skating rink.
Yeah, the old Kiddies Kingdom.
Kiddies Kingdom, love that.
Yeah, but look, I suppose as we're in an industrial park here, and things change over time. But luckily, certain businesses were kind of moving on or moving out at the time when we actually needed more space. So it kind of worked out.
That was
worked
so
out well,
coincidental. I hear you're leaving. We're not. You're leaving here.
That's it. So
this is Carlow, not down. But yeah, I mean, we can see you have an array of different bottles, different cans, everything behind us. You do a wide variety of different beers. I mean, what are your main kind of top SKUs, I guess?
I suppose we have a wide variety, but we also have kind of a certain core range that like a lot of breweries makes up to the kind of 80% or whatever of what we do. So for us in particular, it's our Irish Stout and our Irish Pale Ale would be our biggest products. Obviously Irish Pale, our Irish Red also. I suppose on export, those traditional Irish styles like stouts and red ale in particular is sought after, because it's what as an Irish brewery we're expected to do and do well. But then obviously as brewers, we also like to be influenced by other trends and craft brewing trends, particularly around hoppy beers. So you'll find quite a variety of IPAs and so on that we do as well. Also some barrel aging, where we marry some of the particularly Irish whiskey. A lot of craft breweries do barrel aging. But our unique thing is Irish Stout and Irish whiskey, because Irish whiskey barrels, because we can get those the day after they've been decanted, and you get that kind of fresh spirit stout, and everything kind of blends and marries. So that is a kind of a unique thing as an Irish brewery we can do.
And I guess 1998, you were right at the forefront of, I guess, what was the craft beer revolution? You must have been certainly one of the very first on the island to be outside of the big guys.
Yeah, there was kind of the mid to late 90s. There was, I think, around 9 or 10 breweries started out. There was a little bit of a first wave. It seemed like a great idea. We were, and I think most of the people who came into it were enthusiastic beer drinkers. Liked the flavour. Had travelled maybe a little bit, and my motivation in a large part was everything was so bland in Ireland. Every bar had the same three. I won't mention brands, but the same three beers. Kind of brewed for the mass market, I suppose. So, and I had lived in England as it was for a few years, and they had quite a nice diversity of cask ales, regional breweries, and as a consumer, I kind of got into that kind of social scene of going to it on Friday evening to see what the guest ale was, then moved back, and it was like a bit of a shock to the system. So most people had similar stories, and it motivated them to try and brew get into brewing themselves to bring something alternative.
We've discussed it a little bit before on various episodes. We do kind of like in Ireland, that mainstream is stuff that tastes like nothing. That's what we want because we're drinking so many of them.
Yeah.
So I think to have stuff that has actual flavour is great.
And there's a good point. Like, we are consuming quite a lot sometimes in Ireland, and that's where your Irish pale ale, you kind of seen that tweaking. Instead of just having it as an IPA with high ABV, you've tailored it to our tastes.
That's kind of it. And like, I suppose one of the things we discovered in the early days as well, like, Irish market was quite tough, as for new craft breweries starting out. Nobody'd seen for generations, really. It was breweries closing, not opening. So, but when we went abroad, there was this kind of great interest in Irish beer. But what we realised was it was the Irish bar culture, not the beer culture. Yeah. But nevertheless, there was a great interest in Irish brewery. There was lots of doors opened that weren't necessarily opened at home. But I suppose in doing that, we wanted to brew a beer that captured more flavour and so on, but was still suited the Irish beer culture that we realised was so important in what we where we came from in the first place. So having beers that you can pack in as much flavour as possible, but not have them overly alcoholic, and so you can drink a few. Like Irish people like to drink by the pint, which we like to tell people when we're abroad, and that's the kind of beers we produce. That's what differentiates us. So it's interesting.
For the amount you're talking about the Irish beer or pub culture that we have, have you found that the Irish bars abroad are a good way for you to kind of get into foreign markets?
Yeah, it varies. It varies, and it's often down to the operator or definitely we found some, again, a bit of an eye opener, particularly in the US. Some Irish bars, they're great Irish bars, but they were, I suppose, reflective of a different era almost. And then there was more kind of contemporary, new guys in who were, looking at their food menu, their spirits menu, and also would be stocking, local craft breweries from, say, whatever region or country we're in. But we're also interested to bring in some Irish, smaller, let's say, Irish craft beer brands and not just the big brands. So there's kind of a mixed bag, but overall, it does create a fabulous opportunity for Irish breweries to have that big network out there.
Because it always gives me a little bit of a kick when I see it, when I see Irish brewers, but even smaller Irish whiskey brands and Irish breweries and stuff. When you go into a bar abroad and you see them, you're like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And you do spend a lot of time in Irish bars abroad.
I spend some time. I spend more time than my girlfriend would like, but less time than I would like.
The amount of times you're away, you send me a picture of a pint in an Irish bar. I'm like, where are you? And you're in some Lake Como. And I'm like, why are you in there?
Because I want to go in, have a couple of drinks, complain about the service, complain there's no one Irish there, and leave.
Yeah. I was like, you landed 35 minutes ago. How did you even find it?
I'm efficient like that. But
one thing that you have kind of kept is that through line with the red ale, and you've developed that with the red ale nitro, which we have both had, and it's delicious and creamy. But we don't drink an awful lot of ales in Ireland, but it's a great DNA of what we actually do produce.
Yeah, I think it is. And if we were to think about what do we have the raw materials for in Ireland to produce, we like to brew the hoppy beers. We don't really have hops here, but what we do have is great malt, and that kind of the stout and ale style beers where that malt flavors are the dominant. That's in some ways it's great if that's what we can be known for, because that's where we have something really unique on our doorstep. So we kind of see the market evolving as well, and some of those beers can kind of come and go and come back again. And I think I think the red ale is becoming an interesting. We definitely see great feedback from customers. So the challenge is to get it in front of the customers, and having it on can now is because in a bar sometimes it's hard to get that extra tap.
Yes.
But having the nitrous style beer in can, particularly for the red ale, is a really nice way for people to experience that.
Yeah, I was really, maybe it's my naivety, but when I saw the red ale was a nitro, and you have to leave it settle, and you have to I was like, this is great, but there's a lovely creaminess to the nitro, the nitrogen,
and some nice kind of sweet malty kind of flavours that just really kind of presented well. Those flavours present really well, and
it looks great. If anyone's taking pictures for social media, they look great.
It really does, eh? Now you showed us around this the brewery, the massive production that you do, and you're just like, like absolutely smashing it out on your core range, but you also have a smaller brewery where you do like experimental stuff.
Yeah, so like Urban Brewing in Dublin, in the CHQ building in the IFSC area. The brewery there is about 500 litres, so a little under 1/10 of the typical batch size that we have here. So we can, every brew there is different. Here we brew our core range, so we're brewing the same beers, pretty much every week. But we can brew different beers there all the time and experiment and try different hops, different malts, different techniques, and then serve them. We serve the beer from the tank straight to the bar, so we can get it right to the customer, get the instant feedback.
Yeah.
But
That's
it's fresh
great,
beer.
yeah.
It's the freshest beer
Yeah.
you can get. So we can then, if we want to kind of scale that up, then we take it back to the main plant here in Carlow. And
there has been times that stuff has gone so well in urban brewing that you've kind of brought it back down and gone, we need to make more of this, yeah?
Yeah, and we'd like to do more of that, but actually we're quite tight on our brewing capacity right now. But, sometimes it's led by, beers we brew there and we say, yeah, that's brilliant. We need to, or other times we have an idea here we want to develop. So it allows us to work on that there.
Test market or something as well.
Particularly our Hop Adventure range, which is a single hop beer. Every 3-4 months we bring a new one out. So we like to trial different hops in that beer, and then we'll scale it up once we're happy.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet, so I must check it out.
So check it out.
Only down the road from me. We'll go for dinner some night. No, listen, that was brilliant, Seamus. I don't know. We haven't given you a lot of time. But we do a question each time, and I don't know if you prepared an answer, but we do a thing called Room 101, where everyone we interview, we kind of ask them one thing to get rid of from the drinks industry, whether that be people vaping, people asking for a pint a minute before closing time, people giving you free merch.
Some people don't like that, but we lock it in the room, forget the code, throw away the key, and it's gone forever. But something that irks you, grinds your gears.
Is there anything like that for you?
The occasional time I see our kegs on building sites.
Oh yeah, that is.
Please, there's a plank over it. Like.
Exactly, yeah. Please use proper scaffolding, not our kegs with a plank on it.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah,
that could be one of the top ones.
Yeah. So health and safety. If anyone's working in health and safety out there,
they're
for
a bit
the love of
wobbly.
God.
We might actually just use that to prop the door open for room 101 just with the kegs.
That's it. Yeah.
Because you were saying keg retention is a tough.
Well, it's. You always need more kegs. If the business is growing, it means you need more kegs. So you definitely don't want to be losing any on the way.
Yeah. Well, here, thank you so much for that. Before we leave, if you were to drink a beer today, it's kind of warm, it's kind of muggy, but it is overcast and wet. What would be the beer we would drink?
I'd probably drink this kind of day. Probably go for our stout on nitro.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Standard. Because
I've been
classics.
drinking kind of more hoppy beers during the summer, so I kind of have a sense I'd go for that now.
On the turn to seasons.
Yeah.
Deadly.
That was brilliant.
Yeah, it was. Thank you so much for your time, the
welcome.
tour, and all like the information and knowledge.
So that was episode 12 of Poor Decisions. If you liked what you heard, and you should have, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.
Ciao for now. Cheers.
Bye from Bagnallstown.
Yeah.
Bye.
Say it for me.
Bagnallstown. Bye from Bagnallstown.
Yeah.
What is it in Asgaelic?
Winneviog.
Winneviog.
All right,
There we go.
Well done, Gus.
Slan.
Okay.